So it got me thinking the other day. When you look through the analytics of YouTube videos, for those new to the channel, because quite a few of you are, you get across a statistic, and it's basically on the viewers that you're getting on a video who are already subscribed, who are not subscribed, haven't ticked the box yet, or are new to the channel. And generally speaking, a lot of my videos are going out, and 85% of the people who are viewing most of my videos are not technically subscribed. So what that means is every time I'm sticking my face in front of the camera, this is the first time most of you have seen me. Hi. Not the average guy on YouTube, definitely not. So with that in mind, this will be the first impression you get of someone like me. I don't think there's many others like me, but you'll come across many other people who are doing either knife builds or bushcraft videos, and you'll get a certain presentation style, of which this isn't really what you've expected. So you're looking at it going, why is he presenting himself the way he is? Well, I was talking to a guy at work the other day as we're working, and he suddenly said, "You've just explained to me something with no blackboard. I haven't had to be a science major. I haven't had to do anything to do with astronomy. I never understood any of it ever before, and you've just explained it to me in like 4 or 5 minutes." I said, "Well, that's just the sort of campfire chat thing I'm able to do." So maybe it's something that I'm good at, or maybe something that I do in a way that kind of works. Shut up, Van. But the way that I pass on the tips and tricks, the way that I pass on my knowledge, is kind of a mate thing to camera. It's kind of a hello, me again sort of presentation. But it is literally like if we were sat by the campfire and we got on the subject of kydex, or we got on the subject of sharpening. I haven't got infographics to hand. I haven't got doodly to hand. I don't have an interactive whiteboard to hand. I haven't got a pad and a load of paper and some pens to hand. And yet, if I met someone at a knife show and we were talking over the noise and everything, I'm getting the point across in a way that they leave with a nugget of information, with not necessarily a revelation, but with an iota of understanding that they didn't have before. Maybe it's I can use metaphors differently. Maybe it's because I can just talk about things in a different way. So what I'm going to do now is just go back over what I was having a chat with me mate, and you can hopefully see what he was getting at, and in that way you can see that anybody new to the channel would understand that that's the way that I not only present myself on the camera, not only am I, giving out information, but in a way that you should be able to grasp it with a realization that you didn't have before. So just in case I don't overrun, because there's a 10-minute thing on the thing, there's a stop start, so bear with me. The thing I was talking to him about was a thing called the James Webb telescope, and what I hope to do is just basically go back over what I was doing, and I'm not going to be using computer graphics or anything, and I'll explain to you what I was chatting to him about. Alright, so stop start, no idiot boards. Alright, I watched a video the other day of a well-known knife maker, and it was obvious to every man and his sheepdog that he was using prompt cards off the camera. Kind of off-putting, but anyway, I'm not your average guy, but here we go, James Webb telescope. Right, back again. So all I was saying to this chap was, it won't be long enough finally going to launch the James Webb. And he was on about, what's that then? I said, well, it's the new space telescope we're on about. And he goes, what's that all about? So I said, okay, you're trying to observe galaxies in the universe, okay? So you're in your back garden and you stick your telescope up. Well, first of all, your telescope's only a certain size, and what are you looking through? So I said, well, you're looking through the whole atmosphere and probably looking through cloud. So how do you improve the view? Streetlights in the way. So you maybe go out into the countryside, no streetlights. You understood that? Yeah, okay, yeah, I've heard of that. Streetlights ruin the view. I said, obviously you're in England, so cloud cover ruins the view, atmosphere ruins the view. How could you make it better? Rather than be out in the field, how about being on top of a mountain? Yeah, I said, on top of some mountains in Hawaii, they got observatories. You've seen them, and the clouds are beneath them. I said, it's going to be a better view anyway. He went, yeah, I understand. So I said, how can you get a better view? I said, well, forget the atmosphere, put the telescope in space. I put the biggest one you could fit into a space shuttle. So we're looking at it's minibus sized and the best digital camera you can. He said, yeah. I said, and every couple of years you can go out and take the sensor out, take the 40 megapixel camera sensor out and chuck a 200 in. So now it's 2.5, 3 times, 4 times better. He said, yeah, I understood that. I said, and then it did the Hubble Deep Field. And he went, what's that? Hubble Deep? I said, well, you rent Hubble, you book Hubble time slots. I said, yeah. So 1 hour every Monday night, you can use Hubble, and it's got a turn and face where you're interested in looking. He went, okay. I said, well, it looked at a patch of the sky that was like this big, up in the night sky. Same place, every night, for an hour, for weeks on end. And when all the data came through, all you could see in that square, a tiny little patch of sky over the entire night sky, was 10,000 galaxies looking back through distance. I said, and distance is time. He went, what? I said, distance is time. The further away it is, the longer it took to get here. I said, and the more red it's gone to light. He went, I said, well, visible spectrum of light, UV's at one end, infrared's another. Brian made a guy from Queen. He said, yeah, he's an infrared astronomer. So they're looking back in time because the lights took millions of years to get here. I said, yeah, the moon is a couple of minutes away. The sun is 8.5 minutes away. You look at the sun now, it could have blown up a minute ago. You won't know for 7.5 minutes. I said, yeah, exactly. You're looking back in time. You're looking back in time, the more red it is, because the wavelength gets longer and longer. All right, I said, so you're up in space, you're using visible light. That's Hubble. Yeah. He said, well, you took the sensor out, put another one. You put the sensor out, put another one. And you're constantly doing that. But what you cannot see, yeah, is infrareds quite so well. All right. But the problem is, you're in space. You went, yeah. So I said, well, you know when you heat up a rock by the campfire. He went, right. So you lift the rock up, put it in somewhere cold, and can you feel the heat coming off the rock? You'd have thought, yeah. I said, well, that's infrared coming out. If you're trying to look through the infrared, you got that just the same as if you were sat in your back garden looking up and you got all the streetlights in the way. It's exactly the same for infrared. Right. Oh. So I said, so what I want to do is stick a telescope in space. I said, yeah, out as far as you can. But they've got to be far enough away, right? So the sun isn't washing it with infrared, the Earth isn't washing it with infrared, and the moon isn't washing it with infrared because it wants to have a good look. So it's got to constantly have its back to the sun, the moon, and the Earth, as they're all just going like this all over the place. So you've got this really weird orbit it's trying to do. As we're going around the sun and the moon is going around us, as it's going around, this thing's in a really weird, just think of those spiral shapes you get when you do all the wheel within a wheel thing. Spirograph, he went, yeah, that's the stuff. It's trying to do its weird ass blinking thing, because it's constantly having its back to us. Whilst at the same time, at the back of it, it's got this big load of kites with these reflective panels shielding it from the infrared, for the Earth, the moon, and the sun. So we can finally get a good view. That's the James Webb Telescope, looking in infrared, far out into space, where it's murder blinking cold, where it's got very little infrared interference, whilst this looking out, and it can see stuff that Hubble can't, back in time, further and distant. But it's got to be miles away, with a load of blankets on the back of it so it ain't getting. He went, got it. James Webb Telescope. It's launching this year. You know, that's the sort of way I was doing it. No boards, no thing, and he understood, give or take, what the plan was. Anyway, that's Wessex Blades. Thanks for your time.